Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. It's the 3rd of September, and I'm Brian Fernandez. With me is my co-host, Samantha Voon. Now, let's start by taking a look at the summary of market action this morning. Now, Asian markets struggle to find direction as investors awaited critical U.S. economic reports that could impact the upcoming Fed interest rate decisions. Today, Japan's Nikkei was up 0.06%, while China's Shanghai Composite fell by 0.52%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng also saw a decline, down 0.41%. Now, the cautious sentiment across markets follows Friday's robust U.S. spending data, which dampened the expectation of a significant rate cut by the Fed. Our attention has now shifted to the U.S. ISM data, manufacturing report, and the upcoming jobs data, both of which are anticipated to play a pivotal role in shaping the Fed's next steps. Now, Sam, over to you for the rest of the report.
Thank you, Brian. So in a separate development, Hong Kong-listed Synergy Group saw its shares plunge 99% after warning from Securities and Futures Commission regarding the company's heavily concentrated shareholding, urging investors to steer clear of the stock. Now, in a more positive note, the Tesla is reported planning to introduce a 6-seat version of its Model Y, with production in China expected to start by late 2025. Now, tensions between China and Japan escalated over the weekend, and according to Bloomberg, China has warned the serious economic consequence if China tightens restriction on the sales and services of chip-making equipment to Chinese firms. The situation complicates in the ongoing US-led efforts to restrict China's access to advanced technologies, with potential ripple effects across the semiconductor industry. Now, Chinese officials have conveyed their concerns directly to Japanese counterparts, with Toyota Motor privately cautioning Tokyo about the risk of potential Chinese retaliation. Now, such action could threaten Japan's supply of crucial minerals needed for automobile production. Toyota's role in Japan's semiconductor policy is underscored by its investment in a new chip-making manufacturing facility in Kumamoto, developed in partnership with Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. Additionally, Tokyo Electron, a leading semiconductor equipment maker, faced potential impact from any new export restrictions, adding pressure on Japanese policymakers. Now, the US has been urging Japan to impose stricter controls on the sale of advanced chip-making tools to China. Now, this is part of the broader strategy to hinder China's progress in the semiconductor sector. In response to China's restrictions on exports of key materials like gallium, germanium, and graphite, US and Japanese officials are working on ensuring a stable supply of these essential minerals. So that's all we have for today's market updates.
Thanks, Sam. Now, to bring further insights into an analysis into today's markets, we've got our guest today, Eddie Tofpik. He's the head of technical analysis and senior market analyst at ADM Investor Services International Limited, coming to us out of London. Eddie, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much indeed. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, Eddie, for the start, we're going to talk about the US dollar. What are you seeing with the direction of the dollar, particularly with the view that it's going to be a 25 basis point cut? And also, how is that going to look like against the Japanese yen, given recent BOJ moves and key Japanese data?
Well, let's take the overall picture first off. So if you can have a look at my chart for the dollar index, you can see that basically we've been peeling over and heading down since about late July, early August. We're down within this channel, and we're just breaking above that at the moment. Now, this could be just a correction. It could be to a shallower break. That's yet to be decided. But it's the first time we've really pulled up since, I'd say, probably late June. So ever since then, it's been 3 steps down, 1 step up, 3 steps down, 1 step up, 4 steps down, 1, maybe 2 steps up. But the 2 steps up now are amending the bearish level of this chart. So I think you're probably seeing a recovery, a pullback, if you want, after the heavy bearishness in the dollar in anticipation of so many things as you've mentioned. Now, if I move on to the Japanese yen specifically, this is one of the charts I look at every day, so it's a lot of annotations for me. Here, yeah, I'm sorry about that, but it's to remind me more than anything else. Here you can see that we established that low at the beginning of August. And then we pulled up to a 50% Fibonacci line here at 149.60 odd. Then we've pulled back down. But what's really interesting is this, these 3 lines here. They are a bullish Andrews pitchfork dating back from December through to August. So most of this year. And we've now, in the last month, pulled down towards it, but avoided it. So there is strength at this. Today it's running through at about 143.30. So below the market, we have support around 143.30. The resistance is around about 149.60. We probably look as if we might be moving up towards that area, that, you know, in the wave of things. We're just pulling up. There's not a lot, apart from very recent stuff. There's not a lot in this area on the top side. So I'd see you're saying a recovery in the dollar at the moment, after being sold down quite heavily for a significant period of time.
So, Eddie, how do you see this affecting the Nasdaq 100? Maybe you can share with us.
Yeah, I can go on to the Nasdaq 100 and we'll look at, sorry, I had gold up there. There we go, the Nasdaq 100. The usual story is dollar strong, stock market's weak. Here we've had a recovery in the stock market since the beginning of August after the big drop, but it's now petering out a little bit. It's starting to run into some resistance. Support is around about this 50% Fibonacci level, which is at 19,063. The resistance is this center tine, which you can see worked pretty well. I mean, this was drawn back at the beginning of August and it went up there. Yes, it pierced it, but it did not break it. And that's running through today at about, where are we? 19,965, let's say. So support underneath the market, it's at 19,063, resistance at 19,965, up towards there. Do I think at the moment it's going to go higher? The overall impression is still for a stronger market, but there might be a little bit of a pullback in the stock market in the immediate future. It could go down to 18,000, somewhere down here, and still look bullish. There would not be a problem with that at the moment.
And I suppose it would be a problem if it closed below the pitchfork, yeah?
It would be. Then there's a whole different scenario. We have to start looking at a bearish pitchfork, which would be the one through this action here, which I haven't drawn yet because I'm not certain this is the most recent high. It might take another try up to here. But if there's a high established here, then I'll draw my first bearish pitchfork for quite a while, actually.
I see. All right. So how about gold? Can you walk us through what's happening with gold?
Certainly. Spot gold. It's edging over. We've had this pattern here since March of this year. This is a broadening top. That's the 2 blue lines that you can see there. It's a broadening top. It's been running now for a long while. We tried piercing the top side through August. I even drew this bullish shift pitchfork, which is a derivation of the Andrews, to show the bullish angle of attack, and it looked pretty good. It held there. The resistance areas on a closing basis were good there. It went above it. It went above this, and it went also above a 50% projected Fibonacci line. I thought, okay, so it's going to have a try up to the 26.28, which would be the next potential target for this pattern. However, it's since edged over. It's not made a new high. We're testing back down again. So it's a similar situation where you're seeing a stronger dollar, a weaker gold price. It's not weak gold price. It's just a pullback in an otherwise bullish market back to more reasonable levels. The broadening top is still there. If it's back within this pattern, then you can see there's a lot of support in this area here, all the way down to the 2340 area, possibly even down to 2320. So overall, this actual pattern is still good. The one thing I thought would happen might have been this inverse cat's ears pattern, which is these two double tops within a bullish move on the upside, but it's not really worked through. It's taken its toll. This has eroded all the bullishness out of the metals price, and we're coming back to a more reasonable level, I think, in the short term.
Mm-hmm. And where do you see the nearest resistance being? Is it the Andrews pitchfork?
That's the immediate resistance. They're all around about 2509. So it's not actually the 2500. Everybody thinks, oh, round number. Yes, there is roundophobia. There's people who are worried about round numbers. But the actual number is around about 2509. That's where the main resistance is at the moment. And obviously the high, the recent high, that's where is that? That's at 2531. So 2509 is a key area on the top side, then 2531. The next support on the downside, though, is around about the high here, which we saw back in July, and that would be 2484, let's say, 2483. So that's the immediate support. Below that, well, there's really not much. You've got a high here, but it's not much till probably down the 2430 area. This high is here, this area of support. And that ties in with the lower tine of the pitchfork.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your analysis, Eddie.
It's my pleasure always.
Right, we've been speaking to Eddie Tofpik, Head of Technical Analysis and Senior Market Analyst at ADM Investor Services International. This has been BizTech Asian Midday Market Watch. I'm Samantha Voon.
And I'm Brian Fernandez.
And I'm Eddie Tofpik.
Remember, lovely. And be sure to keep informed on the latest market updates weekdays at 1 p.m. And this video and podcast will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our social media platforms. It will also be on our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and website. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you.